Today, I want to talk to you about the easy, fun stage of homeschooling, the littles. It's a whole different ball game homeschooling the littles. When I say littles, I'm talking about preschool all the way up to third, fourth, and even fifth grade. I will share some fun, easy ways that you can engage your littles as a new homeschooling mom. You would teach them in a way that lets them have fun and in a way that will help them learn without even realizing they're doing so. Doesn't that sound fun? I loved this stage with my kids, mostly because it was simple, real, and the kids participated without much fuss. This stage of homeschooling educates your child in a way that is easy on you and easy on them. My husband and I have homeschooled numerous kids from the toddler age to the elementary years. 4 of them are all grown up and on their own. What I have learned since I've been homeschooling for over 26 years is that homeschooling doesn't have to be as hard as we make it out to be. And especially not at this stage. This is the fun explorer stage, when the eyes and ears of your littles are wide open for information. Also, as a newbie homeschooler, you have to learn to just relax and just not get so nervous about everything. I have found that many times that nervousness and that fear is due to confusion about homeschooling. Many newbie schooling parents are in a fog of confusion about homeschooling because of one to three reasons. And number one is they have never been exposed to anyone that homeschools. And that's just the way I was when I first learned about homeschooling. I didn't know anybody. I didn't even know that homeschooling was a thing. And it was like foreign to me. So when I was approached by this strange white lady in a Safeway parking lot one morning, I wasn't buying it. But she was extremely persistent in her pitch to me. She just wanted me to homeschool so badly. But that's a whole different story that I would love you to hear one day. Yet, I did start homeschooling, and 26 years later, I am still homeschooling. And I totally believe that it is one of the best decisions I have ever made for my children. For my sons, I started homeschooling them way back in 1995, before I adopted my other children. And number two, another reason for new homeschoolers' confusion is due to some of the ignorant views that they have heard about homeschooling. Things like, oh, your kids are going to be awkward. Oh, your kids won't be able to socialize. Or your kids won't be able to have a conversation with normal people. These are mostly false and over-exaggerated. It's just over-exaggerations about homeschooled kids. Okay, me having taught youth Sunday school for so many years, I have interacted with plenty of socially awkward public school kids. All kids go through that stage. It is not just homeschooled kids, but don't misunderstand me. There are some strange individuals in the homeschooling community, but those are few and far between. The kids that tend to be awkward usually have awkward parents. I'll never forget one such family. My kids and I visited a long time ago. We got together with them for what we thought was going to be a fun visit. Well, it was anything but. My children felt out of place with these strange staring kids. As I was talking with the mother and learning something from her, all they did was stare. They very little interaction with my children, just staring at them. Needless to say, we never visited them again. And the third reason people are confused is you have friends or family members who are very negative about your desire to homeschool. They make you feel so ashamed that you are scared to even mention that you intend to homeschool in their presence. Well, this too shall pass. When your friends and family see how well behaved and smart your kids are, they will come to you for advice. I know this from firsthand experience. Trust and believe. You will experience that change in opinion too. So, these are some reasons why a lot of people choose not to homeschool. You know, I have experienced all of the above negative vibes, and it hurts. Believe me, I felt all of that. Like I said earlier, homeschooling was new to me. I didn't know anyone who homeschooled, and I had never really spent time with anyone doing it. And because of my past, my childhood, my lifestyle, nothing in my life pointed to me being a homeschooler for 26 years. So I truly believe that my initiation into homeschooling was a divine appointment. But in spite of all of my doubts and fear, I was still able to be successful at homeschooling my children. That's why I am here today, encouraging you to trust that you are fully capable of homeschooling your own children. You don't need to have fear. You don't need to get nervous, and you don't need to worry about what others will say or think. After listening to my success journey, you will have a newfound confidence and be equipped to do what it takes to ensure that your children are well educated. But I am not saying that it's going to be easy. I am not saying that it won't be without some stress, because every part of life naturally has some sort of stress. You know, just believe me, it will happen. But the benefits of homeschooling will outweigh any negative challenges of stress. Therefore, before anyone can homeschool or even think about educating their children themselves, they first need to reset their thinking. Yes, you have to forget any negative talk. You have to totally forget about how you have done school in the past. Forget about what you know about public school. Homeschooling is nothing like that. Homeschooling is in a class by itself. And number two, families will homeschool. I mean, there's just not any two families that will homeschool the same way. Homeschooling is truly an individual journey that is in your hands, and it is yours to carve out in a way that is best for your family. So if you haven't already, I would encourage you to go online on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and read about the numerous success stories out there of families who have been extremely successful in homeschooling their children for years. There are families who have just started out and are newbies just like you. But then you have families like mine who have been doing it for 26 years. Although I am almost at the end of my homeschooling journey, I still have about 6 years to go, and I am still going strong with the same basic tenacity. Once you have familiarized yourself with a few homeschooling styles, the next thing you need to do is to contact 2 agencies that will be very important for you. I encourage you to contact this agency because they will help you become secure in your decision to homeschool. This agency is the HSLDA, the Homeschool Legal Defense Association. They will know the laws pertaining to homeschooling in your specific state. HSLDA will even assist you in crafting the letter, if required, to your local school board. They are a group of lawyers, and many are homeschooling parents themselves, and they love to help and to protect the rights of homeschooling families. HSLDA thrive to help to equip families to provide an excellent educational experience for their children. This agency has helped us to be bold in our decision to keep homeschooling all of these 26 years. HSLDA has been there the whole entire time. If I ever had any doubt, any fear about what I am supposed to do, I just pick up the telephone and call that organization, because they have the answers, because they are experts in homeschooling law. Over the years, we have had the privilege of homeschooling 8 children. And because we are Christians, we chose to exempt out of the public schools system altogether. HSLDA helped us to navigate through that process. You see, we truly believe that it is our responsibility to educate our kids, to train their character, and to nourish their spirits. And we knew that we couldn't do that if our kids were in school for 8 to 10 hours a day. We just couldn't do it. This is another decision you will need to make. You need to decide to what extent you want the school board to be involved with your child's life. In my state of Virginia, we have 2 main choices. Homeschool with reporting. We can homeschool with reporting yearly progress to the school board, or we can opt out of school systems altogether. So you will have to obtain a copy of your state's laws so that you can make the right judgment. And the third thing you would need to do is to enjoy your children. Now, with your babies being so young and innocent, this is the time for you to fill their minds up with good stories and fantasies and facts. And if you follow the Christian faith, teach them God's word. I can't express this enough. Read to your kids every day. Do this before jumping into any rigorous academic program. As you read, have your little ones color and draw, or buy a huge coloring poster and let them complete it as a family. This activity will give them hours of enjoyment. And when I say you read, I really mean you get the book and you sit there and you read to them. This helps to build their vocabulary. It gives help to them to practice their listening skills. It will help them practice their listening skills, and it develops their comprehension skills. Their imaginations will flourish as you read exciting stories, fun poetry, and biblical stories to them. Your reading to them will encourage a love for the written word, which is so needed today, because everything is so fast, everything is so high speed, and so many things are digital. But we need to remind our children how to love to read. In this way, we model for them how to open any door of interest. And it all starts with you reading to them. For many years, I have sat reading to my boys when they were younger. I still use that method today with my new littles. Their memory comprehension and critical thinking skills are flourishing much faster than normal. Kindergarten to 2nd grade, that's the age that your littles hang on your every word. Don't miss this point. This is a very important point to understand. If you do these things first, you will be excellent at homeschooling, and your kids will be well ahead of their peers, because you are giving their education quality time. You will not need to worry whether they are learning or not. your kids will be at or above grade level. I can remember when my adopted kids were in public school, not only were they on the bus for hours, they spent so much time transitioning from class to class that the actual time spent on academics was dwindling out over the course of the day. And that's insane. They came home with so much homework that I wondered what were they doing in school all day long. This is so different from homeschooling. When you're homeschooling, you can focus on academics for fewer hours and still get great results because all of the busy movement is eliminated from their schedule. So the next thing you want to focus on with your littles is to make sure that they understand letters and sounds. Yes, you can use simple flashcards and repetition to do this. This is how I make certain that my littles are developing a direct correlation between the written word, the sounds that the letters make, and the way the letters look. So it's very important to drill that into their minds and until it becomes a part of their memory. You can create ways to make it fun and natural too. Littles love repeating things anyway, so this is a perfect way to train their memories. I treat this the same way that I would when I am teaching my littles to remember their names, their birthdays. We continue to say it over and over and over again until they memorize it. I know there are some people out there who don't think that this is a good idea to teach kids to just memorize things, but I don't understand that thinking because we have to memorize things in order to recall it, right? We have to memorize our address, our social security numbers, our schedules, how to read a clock. We have to remember how to read an analog clock. I'm not talking about a digital clock either. These are things that we must know instantaneously because if we don't, we will appear stupid and just really slow. And you know that I am not being facetious here, not on this point. As your child ages, things will become very hard for them if they do not have the basics memorized. So just as learning and memorizing the letters and their sounds is important, you have to introduce numbers to your child. You just do. And after introducing numbers to your littles, then you have to show them how the numbers correspond to real things. You can accomplish this with everyday items around your home or your yard. Now, with teaching the littles math, you don't even need a curriculum, not just then, not when they're young. You can use simple little things like that you already have in your home. For instance, I used to take things like apples or oranges and line them up on the kitchen table. These were items safe for the littles to handle. My littles could sort them by size and color. You can teach them to add, subtract, and even divide. They can learn textures, taste, and scents. With this method, they can learn to categorize things. You know, like an apple is different from a potato, and lemon is different from an onion, right? Those little simple routines will go such a long way. Another activity is to teach them counting as they go up and down the stairs. Count as you're going up and down the stairs. As you walk outside, count your steps. When my oldest son was about 3 or 4, we lived in an apartment complex and I had to go downstairs to wash clothes. All of the washing machines had huge numbers on them. And guess what we did? We counted them out loud. He loved showing me how well he could count. Well, do matching games with your littles using animal shapes and colors. All these things will also help to build their vocabulary as well as grow their intellect. Let me tell you, these things are just the basics, and that's all they need at this age. You don't have to use a hard curriculum that requires them to sit all day. Go outside and count trees. Place numbers on the ground around different amounts of rocks or something. Count how many birds fly by or how many chirps that they make. Yes, it will be so much fun doing this with your littles, and it is simple and free. This will lead up to learning and memorizing additions, subtractions, multiplying, and dividing. These are processes that your child must have mastered by the time they get to basic math. You don't want to waste time at this level trying to get them to remember that 2 + 2 is 4, right? My littles have enjoyed books and software that have beautiful illustration and lots of colors. So I use these things to keep them excited and interested. Excuse me. You can purchase many of these items from the dollar store. They carry flashcards, workbooks, and all sorts of manipulatives. Using these simple steps makes it easier to ease your littles into 2nd and 3rd grade. Likewise, if you have done this the right way, 4th and 5th grade will be a breeze. Sometimes you may have a child who is having a little harder time remembering things. Please do not panic. Just take your time with that child and go at your own pace. Your child will not be rushed to learn a subject like they would if they were in public school. They just wouldn't have the extra time. Now, we need to introduce our littles to the world around them. This is science, a fun hands-on adventure, because you can really do so many things with them that are hands-on. You can go outside, touch the grass, smell the air, discover beautiful flowers and insects. If you have a creek around, take the littles there to touch and feel the cool water on their feet. On many occasions while in the river, we could feel little fish eating at our feet, which is a really, really curious feeling. But it's also a fun scientific experience. You will watch your child flourish by doing things like that. You are teaching your child to be free by using their 5 senses. The sense of sight, taste, smell, and touch. Hearing is all you need on your nature walks. Obviously, if you have pets or farm animals like we do, oh well, this opens up a whole new world for your littles. They will understand how we get some of our food from the animals. We have chickens, and the littles collect the eggs every day. They love eating the eggs. We have cows down the road. They understand that we get meat and milk from the cows. So this is all a part of education, all of it. Another way to help you teach your babies about nature is you can plant a garden. And you don't need a big one. You can even plant in pots that sit on your deck, just so your littles can see them grow. They will observe the animals that help to pollinate our plants like bees and hummingbirds. There are so many amazing things to see. All of these things are all a part of nature and a part of your child's education. As you teach these things to your children, they will grow. Now, also remember to teach your littles about their bodies and how fearfully and wonderfully they're made. That's one thing you have to teach your child, is that they are very special and important. Help them to believe that they are beautiful from the top of their heads to the bottom of their feet. They are beautiful. You see, homeschooling does not have to be as hard as it seems. One more thing I want to remind you of is to get your young kids out and about. Take them to museums, outside museums, like parks and historical sites, to introduce them to places like this. Take them to a bakery, the library, the post office, or even a police department, so that they can know what these places really are like. Make it a real life experience. I love homeschooling because I am not regulated to how many field trips I can take with my littles during the year. All you need is your car, some gas, packed lunches, and some extra clothes. And if you have a young baby, throw that stroller or your carrier in the car. Don't let it stop you. Next, you want to make sure that you start your littles in some sort of art project. This is another way for them to express themselves. Art is important for developing the creative side of their personalities. And it is a nice break from academics, right? Lastly, train your children so they will know what they are supposed to do when you are out and about with them. It's very important to start when they are young. If you want to have a successful homeschool, you must do this. And I repeat, you must train your children to obey no matter where you are. Because if you do, you won't be frustrated and stressed out when you go places with them. Like, I see so many moms are stressed out like this. For years, I have heard moms say that they can't take their kids to the grocery store. They can't do this. They can't do that. Ladies, I have never had that problem. I promise you, I've never had that problem. Because, you know why? Because I was sure to do the work inside my home before we went outside the home. When you have littles to deal with and you are out and about, you really can't handle that, and you just can't deal with that type of stuff. But and if you have babies, you need a stroller. And if you have to, buy a double stroller. Because the moment my toddlers started getting cranky, I quickly strapped them in that stroller, and I didn't care how much they complained. My first concern was for their safety and my sanity. I have always had 2 to 4 littles at a time, so I had to learn some tactics to get me through the day. So those are my tips and pointers on how you can easily homeschool your littles. Although it won't always be easy, but if you are consistent and persistent, it will be very rewarding. Well, I pray that what I have said in this video is helpful to you as you begin your homeschooling journey. If you focus on your children and your family, it will be a lot easier as you homeschool. Remember, you only need to make sure that you are seeing progress in your children. You don't need to compare yourself and your family to any other family. Just do you, okay? Once again, this is Adrienne Brown, the homeschool mom of 8, and I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.